Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Scratch Voice with Cresta Gaming. It's just time for Silly Voices Sunday.
Silly Voices!
This is a new record for quickest intro ever.
I know, right?
I think.
I mean, I wanted to keep it short and sweet, basically because we've got some things to cover before the show fully begins in earnest. Welcome to the show. My name's Ebak, the host, and for those who are new to the show, maybe joining us from our potential YouTube audience, who we've just started to put our episodes on YouTube. Welcome to the show. My name's Ebak, and of course, I'm joined by my cast of friends who I gather every week, and we put our voice acting talents to various games. Right now, Ace Attorney Investigations Numero Dos. I think that's how it is, isn't it? Dos.
I think so.
The guy who does not, he never took Spanish or anything like that.
Yeah, no, it was an unusual pronunciation, so I was like,
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily sound like Spanish.
I mean, you can always do it in Carmina Accidente accent.
That's true. That is true. And Kay's already dead. We're only the
We haven't even started yet, and they're already dead.
fucking Carmine.
So,
Comedy.
I think about that so much, Laura. I need you to know. It's just so iconic of a moment to me.
we are down 2 people today. We don't have Divot with us, and we don't have Mist with us. But I'll go through the cast that we do have. We have Burr.
Stars.
Oh God. Drifting.
Who has finally set a mic up in such a way that people don't need to tell me anymore that I'm soft spoken.
Hey. We have a K.
Hi, I'm dog sitting.
All the way from the
Y'all know that, but
from the
Don't
Americas.
sit on the dog, please.
okay, hang on. I will send another dog.
That's fair.
We also have, of course, old woman in Japan, Laura Petal.
Your girl was out of the party. She's still sobering up, but she also said, "Fuck it, I want some Lindor."
Good stuff.
We have our very own Mr. Ryan Lemmingruss.
Oh shit, I forgot to get a drink. One moment. Got it.
Gotta go fast.
Wow.
Wow. Some of us are anime fans
They
here.
gotta go fast.
And our special guest, since we usually bring a special guest in for some cases every now and then, Mr. Weird FGW. Stars!
Well, we gotta bring in Weird whenever Larry shows up.
I mean, come on, yeah, we have to. Whenever Larry shows up, yeah.
My name is Larry.
I don't think that's your Larry voice, but still, that's a very different Larry.
The gift shop tank now has a name.
That's Roid Rage Larry, I think.
Hello.
Larry the gift shop tank.
Oh hi.
Well, I'm going to start the game. So we are currently going through Ace 10 Investigations 2. Just for the sake of the YouTube audience who are tuning in, you'll be getting 2 episodes a week leading up to the releases of to the full releases of the full episode. What am I talking about? You'll basically get 2 weeks episodes until you're caught up, and yeah, from then on, you'll get 1 episode a week, and you'll be watching this the week after. Now, if you are watching this at the end of this episode, you can actually switch over to my Twitch channel, which will be in the description below, and we'll be live with the very next episode of Ace Attorney Investigations for those who are watching on YouTube.
Wow. Did you meet? Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Think about it.
My brain shorted. It's all good.
cool. I'm glad we're all singing from the same song sheet, as the saying goes.
This episode
Nobody
will
gave me
air,
a hymn sheet.
this episode will air right before the next one gets recorded. Is what he's saying. So
Yeah,
Yes,
effectively, you could go. Like I say, you can go right onto YouTube as soon as this episode ends. Go on to Twitch once the episode ends on YouTube, and we'll be live on Twitch recording the next one. So
Good girl drifting. Same brain cell.
In front of the live Twitch audience.
indeed, we will I'll be of course working on the overlay, because now we need to have a chat on display for our YouTube audience as well, so they can see if anyone engages. So please let me know if it's too distracting or if it's too big. I'm gonna make it a teeny bit smaller. There we go.
it's nice to see YouTube. You've probably got an influx of Twitch streamers recently uploading
I
Their
wonder
enti-
why.
The entirety of their history, myself included. That's been fun. I'm halfway.
Myself included, I've gotten to a series which is from like mid 2023 up to sort of that point. I think I will make it before the deadline. It's just I need to be consistently on top of it.
Yeah,
Why is that
I also
happening? We
moved
just don't
things
know.
over, but I've been pretty okay considering I haven't been streaming that long, which was my saving grace.
You can check out all of our YouTube VODs in the description. No. I'm not going to do that to you.
Why not?
Do a Google.
Yeah, good. I mean, the cast will be in the description, so do free to check them out.
You won't
cast
find me
in the
just yet. I
description
have
down
things
below.
to do.
Right.
Find
So,
our Bebo accounts.
so it's been a couple of weeks because Bebo, really? You are
Find me
showing
on
your rage there.
MySpace.
Look, MySpace just left us, alright?
Only just.
It amuses me that there's
Just
someone watching this show right now who goes, "What the fuck is Bebo?"
That would be me.
And me.
I feel old.
We are old, my friend.
I miss.
Let's well and truly date this episode. Rest in peace, Skype.
yeah.
Oh goodness!
Oh yeah.
To be fair, Laura, when we've not dated episodes, I did a Sylvester Krista joke during Dual Destinies.
True.
So
True.
we're nothing if not topical on this show.
There it is. Rest
And
in
we
peace,
see the
Data
game
Booth.
plus.
Yeah, I'll get there. I distinctly remember it killing Laura at the same time with that. Yeah.
Jokes
Thank
first,
you.
game later.
I miss you, Blog TV.
Yeah. So last week we actually weren't playing investigations. Last week we played Baron Munchausen, which that's a special which will be coming to the YouTubes along with all the Game Blast 2025 stuff soon. TM. It was very entertaining. But yeah, we're back to investigations 2 with Mr. Miles Edgeworth, the most tired prosecutor in all the land. This
Also,
poor
could someone do an audio check just to be sure everything is working smoothly?
I would also appreciate.
Don't do it. It's
Some-
a trick.
Yeah.
I'm just mischievous right now.
You're
Listen,
being
listen.
really mischievous.
I'll stop.
Let's
I'll
use this
leave.
mic check opportunity to ask about would Miles Edgeworth make a good fit at a game of Baron Munchausen?
No.
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 I mean,
He's too
he would.
serious.
I think he would purposefully misunderstand the premise.
He would get he would be a good guest. He just wouldn't know it.
Mm.
I think
Yeah.
he would be a good audience, but no, I rescind that he would be a bad audience as well.
Yeah.
He would spend the entire time questioning the sanity of everybody involved.
He already
Right.
does. So.
Rightfully so. How is everyone sounding for anyone who's doing the soundtrack?
It's fine. Everything sounded good.
It's all
Awesome.
fine. All fine. Watch the silly voice peoples do Baron Munchausen. You can listen to the wonderful adventures of, for example, Admiral Horatio Morgan Honey II, a Chris Posclibont Thrusting, Lord of Ludo. No, don't think about the abbreviation of that, please don't. And you can hear the great adventures, also of Major General Dorian Fruit, and of Madame Lorendo Patel de la Fleur de la Toilette. I'm great. I was really good with that name.
Yeah.
was-
I mean,
that was damn
all the
good
names
fun.
were great.
It was a fun time.
Anyway, let's go.
Go. It's your line, Laura.
It's me. It's me. And no, this can't be.
Wait, so you're telling me that when we took that photo of us in the Winter Wing?
Yes, we were standing right in front of the body.
Ah! But the body and the cloth were both recovered from the fountain. Why were they found there if the body was supposed to be in the Winter Wing disguised as a sculpture?
Objection! Because there would have been no mystery as to how the body had been hidden if we found it as is. Miss Bound needed to remove Mr. Frost from the Winter Wing in order to throw us off the scent.
Overruled. Ridiculous. I don't recall her sneaking around behind our backs to throw a body in the fountain.
No, and she didn't need to, because she had another method at her disposal. Her trusty lift cart, the same cart that proved so useful in executing her original theft. I believe she wheeled the body into one of the other wings and floated it down the stream to the fountain. The frozen body, being quite solid, probably got stuck somewhere along the way, which is why only the cloth appeared at first. The cloth Miss Scone discovered.
And then the body followed afterwards once it had thawed enough. Hold it! It's an ingenious theory, Mr. Edgeworth. But can you prove that it was me? It seems a little unfair to expect me to accept your accusations without proof, don't you think?
What about an eyewitness? Do you think somebody might have spotted her when she was moving the body? Wait a second. Okay, no.
I'm just going to turn you up a little bit there, Kate.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, in the meantime, I just wanted to say that as throughout this whole conversation, I was imagining the body going through the pipes like the little guy in Thank Goodness You're Here.
No. What I imagine is that right now, whilst we're discussing, the body is still in the water, as it's just circling the fountain, just slightly, and no one's touching it.
Doing the backstroke.
That happening. That would be the anime adaptation choice.
Every time it comes to the hard camera side, it's in a new pose. It's just
Things
Oh,
probably
goodness.
would happen if this was an anime, fully adapted to anime.
Please, will someone get rid of that body?
I read the line, but I also think I know who they are.
As a matter of fact, I do.
He's got to put himself in a cave.
And the contradiction in the piece of evidence I was provided will shed
Batman
light
there yet?
on exactly how Miss Bound moved the body as well.
Gotta go to his thinking cave.
Now,
Like I said, have you found Batman in there yet?
Now, citizens of YouTube, imagine that every time Edgewood does his inside voice, Ebag is grabbing his mic and running to a small room and saying his line there.
The old Twitch room, and now he's in the YouTube room.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any evidence to support your allegation?
Of course. I have a piece of very compelling proof right here.
Then please present it to the court.
The fabric?
What evidence do you have that proves Miss Bound acted as you claim?
The drawing, right?
The drawing that had the blue cloth
Oh yeah, yes.
in it, yeah. Larry's.
Loris.
Take that.
Maurice, yes.
More drawings? And is that me?
Oh god.
Yes, Mr. Butts drew sketches of people as they passed through the fountain room.
I deserve a pass of the commission.
He might have overdone your boobs, but you have to forgive him.
Okay, your microphone is picking up, I think,
Oh,
some background
shit.
noise.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Oh, it's okay.
Thank you for the heads up.
That's fine. All right.
This might be why you had pushed to talk.
Can you hear the hum?
But what I'm interested in is the cart we can see here.
Miss Bound's serving cart? What about it?
You don't see it? She's using the same trick she used 18 years ago. We know that Miss Bound was busy moving Mr. Frost's body when this picture was being drawn.
What? Hold it! If I may. I don't see Mr. Frost's body anywhere in that sketch. All I see is a picture of me delivering chocolates to everyone.
Really? Then allow me to direct your attention to the colour of the tablecloth, Miss Bound. I'd originally thought that Mr. Butts had made an error, but he assured me that couldn't possibly be the case. As possible as it might seem.
This tablecloth appears to be light blue.
Yes, a shade of tablecloth that Miss Bound doesn't seem to own. The cloth only appears to be light blue due to the body hiding just underneath.
But the shape of the cart is perfectly rectangular, just as one would expect. Surely it would be immediately obvious if the tablecloth was being draped directly over the body.
Objection! Not if the body had been placed inside one of the hollow zodiac blocks in the winter wing. Place one of those on the lift cart, and it'd easily pass muster as a regular serving cart. Wouldn't you agree?
Goddess of justice!
Miss Bound, surely now you must admit that it was you who moved the body, just as you did 18 years ago?
I didn't expect you to deduce that all from a simple sketch. But that sketch alone isn't really enough to prove your theory, is it?
You needn't worry on that front. My case doesn't rest solely on Mr. Butt's artwork. Once you had disposed of the body, your serving cart became a simple lift cart once more, which is exactly what we discovered here in the fountain room. And without a serving cart, you had to find some place to put your chocolates.
My chocolates? The ones I was handing out?
As we saw in the sketch, you had originally placed them on top of the cart. But the chocolates you gave us came from your pocket.
Oh, yeah. Mine was half melted. It was still super sweet and tasty, though.
Why did you suddenly feel the need to put the chocolates in your pocket, Miss Bound?
I just pocketed it.
It was because you no longer had a serving cart to put them on. That's why.
One moment, please. You have explained what Miss Bound did with the chocolates and the lift cart. But what about the tablecloth? Where did it go?
I'm hearing a cat in the background. It's
I
quite
think so,
delightful.
Yeah, it's letterbox noises.
It's quite nice.
Indeed. If stashing the chocolates in her pocket was the only solution she could think of, I doubt Miss Bound had the time to dispose of an entire tablecloth.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have an answer for me?
Miss Bound didn't hide or dispose of the tablecloth, Your Honor. In fact, it's right here in front of us.
Perhaps you would care to enlighten us? None of your trickeries today, young sir. Where exactly is the tablecloth Miss Bound used to hide the body?
Anyone?
On Miss Bound's person.
It's right there.
Miss Bound had the tablecloth on her person, and in plain view, in fact.
In plain view? No. No, surely you don't mean...
Miss Bound,
Take off your clothes.
it's the cloth around your waist, isn't it? And given that the Zodiac blocks weren't kept in glass cases, that cloth would have been in direct contact with the ice. All we need to do is confirm my theory is test the cloth for traces of the sugar used in Mr. Frost's work. The game is up, Miss Bound. It's time to come clean.
Miss Bound ran away.
You won't need to test the tablecloth. Everything you said is true. I stole Delicia's Infesticide Ultra. And I moved Mr. Frost's body. It was me. It was all me. Delicia, I'm so sorry. Last week, I went into your bag and I took it. And then I put it in his pocket, hoping to make it look like he had tried to do himself in. I also made sure to leave no fingerprints but yours, just in case the police suspected foul play.
Judy, you! Oh, gosh.
But Judes, why? What, we supposed to be on the same side? All fighting together to free Samson?
We were. But I couldn't afford to get arrested. Not yet. Not until I finally proven that Samson is innocent. I always planned to give myself up in the end, I swear. I know it's easy to say that now, but
Why do it this way, though? It's not like you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Fender. I've caused you so much trouble. I've been the guilty party all along, ever since that day, 18 years ago. Are you trying to tell us that the true culprit in the IS-7 incident was you? I committed a terrible crime. I took those sculptures, and I stole them for purely selfish reasons. The moment Mr. Frost died, they became more than mere entries in a confectionery contest. They became the final works of Samson's favorite artists. I couldn't allow them to just melt away. Not before he came home. And that meant I couldn't let anybody near them. Not even the police. So I hid them. I knew it was wrong. But I just had to. I put them in a cold storage room for safekeeping. But what I had actually done was far worse than anything I could have possibly imagined. Because who would have thought that Mr. Frost's body itself was posing as one of the sculptures?
E?
We didn't hear.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. So she didn't know about the body when she stole the sculptures.
Samson is a kind man. A saint. He could never kill anybody. Never! And yet, because of what I did, the police never found Mr. Frost's body. And Samson was found guilty. After all he'd done for me, he was my family. The only family I ever had. He was the most important person in the entire world to me. And I...
Judes.
After his conviction, I was forced out of our home. I was finally able to return only a few days ago. And when I did, I went to the cold storage room to check up on the sculptures. And that's when I saw it. Mr. Frost's body. It had been there the whole time. Of course, by that point, the statute of limitations had expired. So I did what I did today. Because it was the only way I could think to make things right.
It seems I've misunderstood her intentions. Everything she's done really has all been for Mr. Tangaroa's sake.
Hey, thinking about, Mr. Edgeworth? I can't read your thoughts.
Something's been puzzling me. Why did Miss Bound use poison gas? Why not a more reliable method? And why disguise the autumn wing as the winter wing? The only reason I can think of is to confuse someone who was here 18 years ago.
Yeah. I wonder what she had in mind.
If she was trying to prove that Miss Tangaroa is innocent, Miss Bound's ultimate goal must have been to find the true killer. Could she have been trying to discover the identity of the true culprit? Miss Bound, your ultimate aim was to see Miss Tangaroa cleared of all charges, correct? And to that end, you had to expose the real killer and have the police find the body from 18 years ago. Is my understanding of your intentions correct? Exhibiting the sculptures was sure to force the killer to return to the crime scene. After all, they were the only person apart from you who knew that the body was hidden in the icework.
So they would have freaked out thinking the body was about to be discovered and come running, yeah?
Exactly. But Miss Bound ran the risk that the killer might successfully cover their tracks this time. In the worst case scenario, they might even have been able to remove Mr. Frost's body from the scene. So, how could she lure the true killer into revealing themselves without putting vital evidence at risk?
Oh, I see what you're getting at. You're saying that's why the autumn wing was all winter wingy.
I am. You were betting on one thing, Miss Bound, weren't you? That whoever opened the Pisces case you had so carefully disguised as the Gemini case would be the real perpetrator of the IS-7 incident.
No.
But that would mean the real killer was...
Antonio Banderas.
That was me that Missy overruled, sorry. Overruled. Enough. Not another word. Do you realize the implications of what you are saying, Mr. Edgeworth? Are you prepared to stand behind the accusation you are clearly about to make?
Miss Bound set a trap for Mr. Frost's killer, meaning that whoever found themselves caught in that trap is highly likely to be the guilty party. But I lack the evidence to support such an assertion. To accuse someone without any evidence is not to be done lightly. So, can I really go ahead and make my accusation and name Mr. Frost's killer nonetheless? Fuck it, we roll. My ultimate goal is to see the truth exposed. And to do that, I need to seize the moment.
Fuck a we ball moment.
Yes, Judge Cavell. I am prepared to stand by my accusation. I know exactly who is to blame for the IS-7 incident. And that
The
is
Swiss chef.
Camillo Gusto.
Mr. Gusto. The victim of the poison gas attack is the perpetrator behind the IS-7 incident?
Gusty?
I love that she kicks it back up with her
Yeah.
foot. That's really good, actually.
Mr. Gusto.
Miss Bound. As we established, you knew that the opening of the gallery would lure the real culprit, and you set up the poison gas trap in order to catch them. Do you dispute the facts thus far?
You're a very impressive man, Mr. Edgeworth. Just like your father. You're becoming more like him. And of course, you're absolutely right.
Then perhaps you could tell us exactly what happened in your own words.
Of course. I have nothing to hide anymore. So I might as well tell you everything. As you said, I set a trap here in the gallery to try and catch Mr. Frost's killer. Before we opened, I made sure that the door to the autumn wing was the only one that was unlocked. When opening time came, I went around to unlock the doors of the various rooms and found that the other one had been locked from the inside. The killer is on the other side of the door. The thought, well, it frightened me.
And then she simply walked away, leaving him to fall victim to her poison gas trap.
When I heard that Mr. Gusteau was being treated for gas inhalation, that's when I knew he was the murderer. All that was left was the police to find Mr. Frost's body, and then Samson would finally be proven innocent. At least that was my plan.
Judes, why didn't you tell me? You know I'm always here for you, right? We could have found another way. It didn't have to be like this.
Thank you, Mr. Fender. You've been so very kind to me all these years. But I'm the one who created this mess. So it was up to me to try and clean it up. I didn't care what it took, as long as I could get Samson out of that awful place.
Judy.
18 years ago, the police managed to cover up the fact that Mr. Frost's body had gone missing. If I went to them now and said it had reappeared, I was afraid they might have tried to cover things up again. So I worked to set up a very public incident here in the gallery, in front of as many witnesses as possible.
I'm so sorry, Judy. You, Samson, Gregory, I let you all down.
Fender, this can't be easy for him.
No. I'm the one who should be apologizing. Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Fender, I hope one day you can forgive me. And whatever punishment I have to face, I'm ready to accept it. But please, if I may ask one thing of you, is that you simply must clear Samson's name.
The way the truth of these past 18 years had come to light was unexpected, to say the least. And yet, it had only set us down a path towards an even more shocking end.
To be continued.
Right now,
Indeed.
Dun, dun, dun.
April 2nd, 3:11 p.m. Zodiac Hall, Fountain Room. Miss Bound, are you feeling a little calmer now?
Yes.
Good. Then allow me to get to the point. Regardless of your intentions, you broke the law.
Yes. I understand.
Nevertheless, I understand that you did what you did in order to prove Mr. Tangaroa's innocence. Therefore, if the real culprit really is someone else, then we have a duty to re-investigate the case.
Overruled! I'm staring intently so you know I'm serious about this. There is nothing to suggest that anything nefarious took place in the official IF7 incident records. And right now, there is nothing to suggest that we should take Miss Bound at her word either. So, our first order of business should be to arrest the culprit of the case before us, Miss Bound herself.
Objection! Official records cannot always be trusted, Judge Gavell. Especially since there are those prosecutors who would think of nothing of twisting the facts.
Overruled! Are you suggesting that the committee at the time overlooked just such a prosecutor?
Yes.
That's for you and your people to figure out. However, it is a fact the autopsy report was faked. Seeing as Mr. Frost's body was only found just now.
There really is something of Mr. Von Karma in you, Mr. Edgeworth.
Wow, bitchy move.
I hope not.
How so
What is that?
exactly?
By continually defying the will of the committee and bending the truth to fit your needs. That's how.
The girls are fighting.
Perhaps it is time you understand how how the committee sees this case.
The committee's view.
The committee is willing to accept that Mr. Von Karma falsified Mr. Frost's autopsy report. Even still, Mr. Von Karma only managed to have Mr. Tangaroa convicted as an accomplice. I personally have come to believe that the real culprit behind the IF-7 incident is Miss Bound. Her plan to poison and kill Mr. Gusteau today was her attempt to frame him for Mr. Frost's murder.
And this is how the committee sees things, is it?
It is. As always, I act solely in service of law and order.
That's a different show, ma'am.
Sounds to me like all she's doing is acting in service of the committee in covering up the truth. But if I can't change her mind, there'll be no saving Miss Tangaroa or Miss Bound. Time to go on the offensive.
Squibbity beebity boop. Squibbity beebity boop.
Squibbity diggy boop.
This is the
Squibbity diggy boop.
this is
I was waiting
definitely
for something.
the linchpin. This whole plan, it's a bit too convenient. Let's start pressing it. Hold it! Why would Miss Bound have chosen to frame Mr. Gusteau for the murder?
No doubt because he suspected her of being the real culprit. He may have entered what he thought was the Winter Wing, simply to see if the Gemini statue was genuine. Little did he know that he would be greeted by a trap designed to silence him. A trap that nearly worked.
Objection! Do you have any evidence to support that line of reasoning?
Unfortunately, Mr. Gusteau remains in critical condition. It will be difficult to prove anything until he regains consciousness. In other words, there is little we can do for now.
So by your own logic, your hypothesis is pure conjecture.
On the contrary, there's plenty we can do.
You still have not grasped the situation, have you? Then allow me to spell it out for you.
Rip it,
Maybe.
We have all the evidence we need to explain both the IS-7 incident and the poison gas attack.
Do we?
Gas.
We have therefore determined that there is no need to investigate either case any further.
Well,
It's probably either one of these two you have a thing for.
Yeah. But what? Is there a gap? Is there a hole? Is there anything which we don't know?
what are the frame? What are the finger marks on the frame? Is that something?
Tangaroa's own no accompanying prints. Could be
Oh,
something.
okay.
Maybe.
Nothing there.
Also, there was something of a fire thing. What did that say? I think one page back.
About a blowtorch.
Yeah.
Maybe
is it?
this isn't the... Oh,
No, the blowtorch. There are signs of what you used just before the police arrived, possibly to heat something.
But that would have been Frost. That would have been Gusteau heating the panel.
I guess.
Yeah.
maybe this isn't the statement of press.
Hold on.
I think, yeah.
Hold the phone. There's-
Okay, holding the phone.
It says here that it detects salt, sugar, and blood. We have the sugar information, but we have no information about the blood or the sugar or the salt, I should say. Like, whose blood was it?
Good
Surely,
question.
should I be the victim? Well, no, I don't know. From 18 years ago?
Objection.
Oh, he's nailed it.
I'm afraid there is still one question concerning the IS-7 incident that remains unanswered, Your Honor. Would you mind taking a look at this?
What is it?
Their test results, carried out on the liquid at the bottom of the Gemini case in the Windsor wing. As you can see, traces of blood were detected. The question is, whose? Until that question is answered, I hardly think you can claim to have all the evidence.
Oh. There was blood in the Gemini case.
Why did I not hear about this from Eustace? I mean,
That's
it's
implying
Eustace.
I have intelligence.
I'm sort of answering my own question myself. It was from Eustace, so I would not have heard anything.
Or
yes.
rather, it wasn't.
Because Detective Gumshoe informed me of the results directly. I was planning to tell Mr. Winner about it myself, of course.
Overruled. You kept this to yourself until now, despite having no jurisdiction here whatsoever. Mark my words. The committee will hear all about what you have done here today.
As ever, my interest is in the truth. The committee can kiss my ass. And if mistakes were made in the past, they must be rectified. If you must report me to the committee, then so be it. But in return, we must be allowed to investigate this case to the very end.
That is not my decision to make. You will need to discuss it with Eustace.
The
I'm
boy?
busy.
Really?
And good luck with that.
Oh, apparently I'm back. Hello. Guess who's back, losers? And with good news too, by the way. He's alive.
Oh, God.
It was a close call for a minute there, but Camilla Gusto's alive.
Oh, fuck, it's me. Gusto.
Every time they don't show the character when they're
Mm.
having a line, always like a
Right.
second of, oh, fuck
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
He made it.
Ironic. We had Divot play Gusto, and I think didn't Miss take him over temporarily?
Yeah.
And now we have neither.
Weird. Do you want to take it?
Yeah, I think
You
I
want-
was like the third backup, but if we
You-
if we want weird,
I-
You what? I feel like Lemming hasn't had a line in a moment.
Yeah, but
If he doesn't mind, I'll take it.
Go for it.
because Gumshoe might turn up. You never know.
Yeah, just remember, you are Antonio Banderas.
I was going with the Antonio Banderas.
well, you don't have to do that. You can do something.
Yeah,
else.
You
you
do your
don't
own
have
thing.
to do that.
You're the one to fund me.
That is what has been his.
Yeah. Long time no see, Gusto.
I was pondering my orb. Oh, you're the attorney's assistant. You've grown, and you have an assistant of your own now.
Assistant? No. I'm.
Let's laugh together.
Oh my god.
Serious?
He hasn't got the gig just yet. This is Gregory Edwards' son.
He hasn't got the gig, but he's got the giggles.
Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth at your service.
Fate moves in mysterious ways. I'm in your debt. If you hadn't found me in time, I wouldn't be here to thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. After all, if you hadn't lived, we wouldn't be able to ask you what really happened 18 years ago.
If you hadn't lived, we wouldn't be able to accuse you of fucking murder.
What are you talking about?
Almost like it's a plot point or something.
Oh, we figured out quite a bit where you were out cold. Including the fact that you're probably the guy who oofed poor Artie Frost.
Oh,
I believe
oft.
it's oft. Oofed.
Sorry,
I mean, same thing, really.
no, it's
We
fine.
are-
I honestly, I didn't think, of course, someone reading that would go probably oofed.
We are starting our adventure with YouTube. It's oofed on YouTube.
Well, you.
Ponder
So,
my
well, you offed him. That is a pretty big oof.
What?
an-
Is that true? Why are you all using slang from my time? Stop it.
It's a bro moment. It's an ooflamau.
Miss.
I mean, okay, this is 2019. I think oof would be extremely topical.
Sorry, taking a drink.
Sure.
Miss Bowen set up a very elaborate trap to catch Mr. Frost's murderer. A trap that involved rigging the Pisces case with poison gas. Perhaps in light of that fact, you could tell us in your own words what happened back then. Or perhaps you'd rather exercise your right to remain silent.
Oh, it's not that. Gusto here is the fan of the old meditation, you know. And all that jazz.
Uh-oh. Okay, we need you.
No, hang on. I had to let the dog out. He was bothering.
You let the dogs out.
Yes, I had to let the dog out. Anyway. Wow, sleeping while standing seems pretty cool. That's one heck of a talent. Like a horse.
Except there's no sleeping involved in meditation, Kay.
Not with that attitude.
Hey, Gusto,
Not
now.
with that attitude.
After Gusto, how about just snap out of it and tell us what went down way back when?
I was caught in the girl's trap, so I must be the killer. This is your idea of a joke. I'm the victim here.
Indeed, you are, Mr. Gusto. And there is no evidence that you have done anything wrong yet.
Yet.
Mr. Edgeworth and Mr. Fender are merely speculating. Rest assured, they have no authority here, and that you may pay them no heed.
I will pay them in the head. I mean, at least somebody here seems to be on my side.
Judge Verity Gavel, it's a pleasure, Mr. Gusto. I will assist you in any way you may require. Perhaps you could begin by explaining what actually happened 18 years ago to Mr. Edgeworth.
Fine. You want me to prove I'm innocent, Mr. Prosecutor? I'll be happy to. Let me ponder.
Objection.
I do.
So this is how you meant to play. You mean to play it, Judge Gavel? You're hoping Mr. Gusto will help you hide what happened instead of trying to correct the record?
I believe only in the infallible judgment of the Goddess of Justice.
Except it is us humans who make the actual judgment calls in a court of law. And so long as there are those who would use the law to their advantage, our rulings are fallible indeed. If you would use your position to further obscure the truth, then neither she nor I will forgive you.
But the lady in my head tells me so. We shall see about that.
What do you advise, Judge Gavel?
It would seem that you are under suspicion because it was you who triggered the poison gas. Specifically by opening the Pisces case's lid. Would you be so kind as to share why with us?
Understood. I came to see Frost sculptures. Simple as that. I made a mistake with the opening times and arrived a half hour early. I always like to skip the ads in movies.
Miss Bound was there. Was there no one at reception desk around that time?
I had left the main entrance unguarded and unlocked, just in case the killer made an appearance. I was also busy making preparations elsewhere, all the way up until the gallery's opening.
So, no. There was no one here on the first floor then. But I did make sure that all the wings were locked up tight. All except for the autumn wing, that is.
I see. She did all that just to steer the culprit into the autumn wing, which is precisely where Mr. Gusto went.
Okay.
Ah! I'm still fucking handling the dog. Okay, I
It's
got it.
okay.
Sneaking into a building's pretty suspicious, however you slice it.
Girl. Plus.
This from you.
Exactly.
She's like, and that's my thing. You can't do my thing.
Exactly. Like she's saying the thing that she does because it's suspicious. Because like she knows it's suspicious. She's just gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, there really are moments when she and Eustace can just shake hands.
Mm-hmm.
They are both very silly, but I do think Kay's got a lot more charm to her, at least so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also there are areas where she is competent.
Yes.
Silence in the courtroom.
I kill you.
I will permit no objections or interventions unless there is some evidence that the witness is lying.
But the courtroom, you know this is an art gallery, right? Jeesh, like,
Mr.
like mother like son.
Gusto, if you could please continue by explaining why you opened the Pisces case.
Do I have to talk slow like you just did? Okay. I wanted to see what Frost's work up close. I failed that sentence, but it's fine. I went up to the Gemini. Sorry. Guess it was supposed to be the Pisces statue. If we're going to get all specific. And I saw that the lid was frozen on tight. So I grabbed a blowtorch from nearby and tried to open it. When I finally executed Fireball, gas came pouring out.
Fascinating. Here's the sort of flawless testimony attorneys can only dream of.
Yeah, the everything sounds like a lie kind.
Ha! I am none too satisfied with Mr. Gusto's explanation myself. Alas, there is no evidence to refute it.
Come on! There must be something. Also, sorry if you hear squeaking noises. That is the dog. He's making squeaky noises with his toys.
Good doggo.
Good doggo. Just wanted to say that this is a very normal gallery visitor behavior. You come in, you take a blowtorch, you just start to open the case on a nice sculpture.
Yep.
It is how I get my fun. It's Bound's story you should be questioning, not mine. I'm not the one who set up the gas trap. She could have killed anybody with that thing.
Objection! She turned on the sprinklers as soon as the gas was released.
Who are you?
She knew exactly what she was doing. She was gunning for the killer and nobody else. That killer being you, old pal.
So you believe that self-confessed criminal?
Miss Bound is far from blameless in this affair, and she'll have to pay for her crimes. But so will Mr. Frost's killer.
You seem determined to pin Frost's murder on me. But as I ponder this orb, I say, I had no reason to kill him. The orb didn't tell me to. And you have no evidence to prove otherwise.
Ah,
Yes, indeed.
Good nerve.
Can we really prove that he's not the killer, Mr. Edgeworth?
Mr. Gusto fell victim to the poison gas. That much is indisputable. Yet, no matter how suspicious his actions in the present may seem, they prove nothing about the past.
Yeah, but so what about you, Mr. Fender? There must be something we can do. Come on.
You're right. We may not have evidence, but we have plenty of intel. Let's see now. If Gustav killed Frost, he must have had a reason.
He claims to have not to have a motive. That can't really be true, can it?
What, I can't do things for fun anymore? I mean, I didn't do it.
Is that our first logical thought, or do we have some others to combine?
I don't know, I'll see, but let's take this.
Yeah, if he did it, he has one. Not many people commit murder just for fun, just for shits and giggles.
Oh, you actually said it. I was not expecting that.
In fact, your old man had a little back and forth with Von Karma about a probable motive too, remember?
Okay, he's not even here.
Lemming! Lemming?
How should I do this?
I don't know.
How can
Just
you
give us a-
possibly say that this with any... what?
Hmm?
Somebody was saying something halfway through my speech. Well,
Sorry.
what was it?
just start off with your best, like, Eddie notes, and that's how you get into the character.
The perfect warm-up.
Eddie, notes. How can you possibly say that with any certainty? If their relationship had broken down for some reason, that could very well have been the motive behind the murder.
The relationship with Artie Frost is over. Manfred von Karma is my new best friend now.
Oh dear.
Von Karma wouldn't let us talk to Gustav back then, but we can now. If we can put pieces together, I think the picture we've been looking for might just emerge.
Yes, I think you might be right. I need to think back over everything we know about the IS-7 incident, especially the questions that never got answered.
And the finger marks? Were you the one wearing the gloves?
Miss Scone denied that the finger marks on the frame were hers, but what if they were Mr. Gusto's? Perhaps he had wanted to take a look through the ultimate cookbook for himself.
I found my own cave.
Why can't we all sit in the same cave
Where
together?
is it? Where did I put it?
So he asked me to go put in a new cartridge. He seemed to think there should have been more shots left than there were.
In other words, the film ran out sooner than expected. Expected.
I have no idea why Gregory was singing that, but yes, the number of shots he took didn't line up with the number of shots remaining.
It's been a moment.
But he thought maybe he just lost track somewhere along the way.
My father noticed these things for a reason. I just need to piece them together correctly. In the absence of evidence, it's the only way to the truth. Time to engage logic.
Damn
Oh,
right.
not logic.
He insists he had no motive, but he wanted the cookbook.
No, the reason there was no more frame was because he took pictures of the cookbook.
By Jove!
Photographing the cookbook's contents would be the perfect way to steal its secrets undetected. And what if Mr. Gusto did just that? What if he used Mr. Tangaro's camera to photograph the book?
It'd be the perfect crime. So much better than stealing it and getting chased by the cops.
Sneaky snapshot or 20, huh? That could work.
The only question is, when would he have done it?
Good question. What about during afternoon tea? Didn't Alicia say that Gusto and Frost had missed out on the little tea party they had?
Which brings me to the next question. When do we know for certain that Mr. Frost was still alive? Oh. Was that after the contest began, nobody saw hide nor hair of Frost as he had secluded himself from his room. And the only person capable of entering his locked room was Takara, possessing as he did the only key. Let me take it.
Yeah, I'm just activating cave mode.
It's fine.
Miss Scone, were Mr. Tangero's works the only ones you sampled?
No, dear, I couldn't help myself. When I finished my afternoon tea, I tiptoed over to Chillywink's room for a little taste too.
Mr. Frost had kept to himself inside his room after the contest had started, but he was gone by the time Miss Scone stuck into it to sample his work, meaning there's a good chance he was murdered before the end of afternoon tea. I think this is quite clear. You hear me? There you go.
Yeah, we could hear you.
Mr. Gusto, you and Mr. Frost conspired to create works for the contest together, did you not?
So you know my little secrets. You know my little friend.
Mr. Fender was kind enough to inform me via his notes.
He's not my friend.
Mr. Frost was in charge of the designs while you were in charge of the flavor, is that correct? Also, thank you, Lemming, for describing the prime.
What can I say? I still had a long way to travel on the road to become a master confectioner.
But you only collaborated up through the semi-final. Something changed after that.
We both wanted to show what we could do. Show that we were better than Tangarora.
Objection! Then why did you help Mr. Frost with his entry for the final?
I was trying to be friendly. What grounds do you have to say even that?
Your own statement, made to Mr. Von Karma 18 years ago. You told him that you had been working together right up until the day before the final.
Mr. Frost's entry was carved entirely from blocks of flavored ice. Ice which would have needed at least a day to freeze, and whose flavors would therefore have already been prepared by Mr. Gusto.
Yes, which aligns perfectly with what Gusto told me, that he helped Frost until the day before the final.
In that case, why didn't Mr. Frost reciprocate and help Mr. Gusto in return?
I could hardly be expected to read the minds of the dead. So why didn't Mr. Frost help you in return, huh? I submit that your relationship broke down for some reason, and bad English became the basis of your motive for murder.
It's fine. English is hard.
Ha! It burst. That's not how it was. No.
I mean, I think he's saying like that became your motive for murder. It's not technically bad English.
Ah,
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
just
I mean,
awkwardly phrased.
English
because
hard.
It's not technically bad English, but it's still bad English.
And also, I said that as Eustace, so don't worry about it.
Sure. We stopped working together, but it was all perfectly friendly.
You stopped working together in a friendly way? Kind of hard to imagine, but okay. It's like
Have
my
you-
mom saying that, oh yeah, no, the divorce was totally amicable.
Yeah,
Yes.
we were Yeah, let's be friends instead.
That's Kay talking. My parents are not divorced. Me, the Kay, the streamer, Kay, the character. I think her parents are divorced.
What? Yes, indeed.
Well, one's dead.
Indeed.
Sorry.
It's all good. Besides, how do you think I did it exactly? You think I just strolled into Tangero's room and gave him a lick?
Who knows?
I couldn't have killed the man with a link, not while Tangelo was in there working on his chocolate pieces, could I? So you see, it can't have been me. It was surely Reese.
I wouldn't be so sure. There must be a window of time when Mr. Tangaro wasn't in his room. If I can prove that, I can prove that Mr. Gusto had the opportunity to kill Mr. Frost.
Yeah, the afternoon tea.
Also, wasn't he the one, judging the other pieces anyway?
I'll judge you.
Yes.
We can be sure that Mr. Frost was alive until the beginning of afternoon tea, making tea time the only window during which Mr. Gusto could have killed him.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Gusto's story now, Mr. Edgeworth?
No.
Sadly, I'm afraid I'm still rather unsatisfied. But things are finally starting to become clear, and the truth will soon come to light at last.
Do you mean to say that you have uncovered new evidence?
Evidence? No. I was hoping I might convince Mr. Gusto to open up to us about it instead.
Oh, is it mind games time again?
I'm right here, you know.
Let's
It is.
go.
Mr. Gusto, I have a question for you. I said I have a question for you. You chose to make your entry for the final on your own.
I told you. I wanted to test myself. I wanted to prove I was the best in the world.
Objection. If that were the case, then surely you wouldn't have chosen to cheat in the first place. So tell me, Mr. Gusto, why did you feel the need to team up with Mr. Frost? Time to go into my mind palace.
Where are we?
18 years ago, Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost collaborated in the confectionery contest. But why did they work together, and why did they enter the contest in the first place?
Why did you no-sell my question?
That's the information I need to get out of my opponent somehow. After all, this is a contest, a wrestling one, perhaps. Mr. Gusto seems to have a habit of pretending to be asleep when things aren't going his way.
Reminds me of someone I used to voice.
Let's start by focusing on why he chose to work with Mr. Frost. I in my hand, now is the time to dig up the truth that was buried all those years ago. I've dealt with professional sleepers, chamomile for one. You don't scare me, Gusto. Mr. Gusto,
I'm a professional sleeper.
what inspired you to collaborate with Mr. Frost?
We were acquaintances before we were contestants. He was interested in entering the contest, so we decided to sign up together.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
He never washed the dishes.
And your decisions to pair up with a sculptor had nothing to do with your lack of faith in your skills?
You do not know me. We joined forces because we wanted to make the most perfect creations possible. The most perfect! That's all.
You don't know me.
What did you just say? Did we just miss some dialogue? I'm not paying attention.
No.
No, I just made a joke of you don't know me.
You don't know me.
Fair enough. Frost's son and mine were in the same grade at school, so we got along pretty well too.
Oh? So you were just two friends who happened to try for the title of world's greatest confectioner?
He was very good at hopscotch.
Ha! Pretend to be asleep when going gets tough will work on me, I'm afraid. Mr. Frost was a sculptor, Mr. Gusto. I doubt he cared much about winning a title for confectioners. In which case, you probably had a different motive for taking part in the contest, wouldn't you say?
Wake up, you bitch!
Stop throwing things at me. Fine. It was me. I wanted a title. Frost was only in it for the prize, the ultimate cookbook.
I see. And since your objectives dovetailed so neatly, you decided to work together. But then something happened. A breakdown in your relationship, perhaps. If so, I want to know why.
Tell me the answers, or I desire the answers. Mr. Prosecutor, I'm still quite unwell after my brush with death. Push me too hard, and I'll fall asleep. I mean, I'll be on my way back to the medical room.
No,
for a good
wait.
Snooze. I'm sorry, what now? You'd better wrap this up quickly. I'm already dangerously sleepy.
Mr. Gusto is trying desperately to make his escape, but he's not going anywhere yet. Not as long as he's still keeping things from me. So let's figure out what he was really after next. Time extension.
I would be more cooperative if you didn't throw giant chess pieces at me.
There's no time to lose. I need to pick up the right line of questioning and fast.
You said there was no time to lose.
You too had your eyes on something other than the title, didn't you? After all, I'm not sure the title of World's Greatest Confectioner even counts for that much.
Comprehending what you just said. Now you're insulting the way of the confectioner?
Horrible gasps.
My goal, my only goal, was to win the title. I didn't care about anything else. You have no idea how much it would have meant to me. How dare you bide your time with me? Look, my sense of design may not have been up to snuff back then, but you should see me now.
Oh, so you've improved?
You bet I have. Look at my hat. I didn't have to do all the training in Senvar for nothing.
I love that
Mr.
look at my hat.
Prosecutor.
It's very
Look at that.
fun.
Look at my hat. I looked up to Tangodoro, you know. But now, since my hat is this big, he must look up to me. Spent hours poring over the designs of his work. Even used to watch his show with my son. Gusto Jr. is.
Sounds to me like Mr. Tangaroa's work was especially influential in your early studies. And with his recipe book, you might have been to become the best someday.
Maybe. The book was a real treasure, no doubt about that. Any confectioner would have wanted it. The cookbook.
Ah. Ha. You claim that your only goal was to win the title, yet you also seem to have had an interest in the contest prize, the ultimate cookbook.
Stop throwing things at me! The greatest collection of recipes by the world's greatest confection. Yeah. I can't say I had absolutely no interest in it. And even if I did, what exactly is so wrong with that?
Nothing, I suppose.
Good, then we are done here.
Only that the book contained recipes for medicines, not desserts.
I heard that.
And everyone who entered the contest supposedly knew that. I feel like I'm finally getting somewhere. I can't let him slip through my grasp now.
Powering
I just need to stay calm and keep the pressure on. Time extension.
Powering up.
Next, let's find out why he wanted the cookbook.
Yes, take more time.
So your plan was to win the cookbook and use it to help you with your own creations.
Well, what else? A book like that could have improved my craft tenfold.
You could have made a lot of money if you'd sold it.
I don't know much about what was actually in there, but it was worth more than money. I'll tell you that. It's more than
Come now, Mr. Gusto. I think you know more about the Ultimate Cookbook than you claim.
He told us a little about it at the start of the contest.
Then you know what kind of recipes it actually contained, don't you? And that they weren't dessert recipes at all.
I see you did your homework. Fine! So you know what was really in there. The Ultimate Cookbook, or the Angel's Cookbook, to give it its proper name. It's a collection
The
of
Anarchist Cookbook.
The Anarchist's Cookbook. I mean, no, it's the Angel's one. Don't ignore that voice in my head. It's a collection of chemical formulas and ways to synthesize new medicines nobody had ever heard.
So he did know that the cookbook actually contained recipes for medicines. This could be an important clue.
I'm very poorly. I need the medicine.
Did you know how valuable the cookbook really was?
What kind of question is that? It was a collection of Tangarora's recipes. There wasn't a confectioner in the world who wouldn't have wanted to get their hands on it.
Time to deploy my clue. Your designs may have improved thanks to your training in Zhengfa, but you clearly didn't do enough work on your skills of deception. You've already admitted that you knew the Ultimate Cookbook was a collection of recipes for medicines.
My piece still stands.
Thereby making your interests not gastronomical, but pharmaceutical in nature.
Do you think he was training by making confectionery while standing under a waterfall?
Maybe.
Probably.
You're a confectioner, Mr. Gusto. You had no professional interest in revolutionary new medicines, which suggests that your interest must have been personal.
That was the perfect orb. I underestimated you. Fine. You're right. Winning the title wasn't the only reason I entered the contest. I needed one of the recipes in that book. It was for my son. He was sick.
He was. Tell me more.
Tell me more, and this is a song. That's none of your business. I've told you as much as you need to know.
He looks rattled, but I can't off the hook.
I confide in you, Orb. I confide in you all day.
Let's find out what this mystery illness was.
The orb must live. The orb must live. I will perish, but the orb must live.
I've almost gotten to the bottom of this. I can feel it. Just a few more moves.
Could it be that illness is bound to those cocoons from the Apollo Justice one?
Maybe. Tell me a little more about your son.
He was my pride and joy, and my biggest fan.
And you entered the contest in order to help him.
You clearly don't have children of your own. Any father would have done the same. I would have done anything to care about him. Anything. He would come to see me here at the contest venue too, right up through the semi-final.
Really? He didn't get in the way of your work? If you were trying to beat Samson Tangaroa, surely you didn't have the time to look after a child.
Yeah, well, little shit got in the way, I suppose. I wanted to do what I could for him, though. He said he wanted to always be the first to try my creations.
You said your son was sick, Mr. Gusto, and yet he was able to come and join you for the contest.
It wasn't that kind of illness. Nothing life-threatening, anyway.
This feels like it could be an important clue. Right then. So you need the cookbook to cure your son?
Yes. Nowadays, you can get the medication he needed anywhere. But back then, that book was our only hope. Which is why I didn't dare waste my time on fancy tea parties. I had to give it all to my work.
And what about Mr. Tangaroa's work?
Screw that guy.
Surely that tea break gave you the perfect opportunity to go steal a glance at it?
What makes you think I had the energy or time to care about what the others had made? Take care of me at this time, Orb.
I think you've made it abundantly clear how much interest you had in Mr. Tangaroa's work. What's more, if you were that determined to win the Ultimate Cookbook, I seriously doubt you would have passed up on a chance to take a peek at your competitor's entries.
And careful with the orb, careful with the orb. I had plenty of chances throughout the contest to see and sample my rival's work, you know. But each time I did, nothing seemed to have any flavor. Must have been nerves or something.
Nothing Mr. Gusto tasted had any flavor? That seems like could be an important clue.
Didn't the Tangaroa have that as well?
Yeah. Could you tell me the name of this disease your son suffered from?
You're a real cold customer, Mr. Prosecutor. Isn't it enough that he was seriously ill? Why would you force me to tell you more?
Time to find my clue.
Murder.
But it wasn't life-threatening, was it? You've already shared with me that your son's illness wasn't life-threatening, so why are you so reluctant to share any further details?
You'll dox me. I didn't. May not have been life-threatening, but that doesn't mean it hadn't been life-altering.
I see. That must have been very hard on both of you.
Of course it was. That was why I did everything I could to find a cure. We were desperate. He couldn't taste anything, not even his favorite desserts.
As I understand it, the Ultimate Cookbook contains the recipe for a very particular medication, one Mr. Tangaroa used to cure himself of his own taste disorder.
I forgot. So he had it too?
Two, you say? So your son has a taste disorder then, am I correct?
How did I let that slip?
You've been asking me to believe that you needed to win the cookbook in order to cure your son. But was that really the case?
Of course it was. What are you saying?
I'm saying that I'm not sure that's true based on everything you've told me. Time to deploy my clue. Taste disorders are difficult to live with. It isn't easy not being able to enjoy your food. You should know, after all. You just told me you'd experienced something like that during the contest. You said nothing you sampled had any flavor. Those were your words, correct? Which would seem to suggest that you were suffering from a taste disorder.
That's the perfect orb!
A confectioner without a sense of taste. Not exactly ideal. Are you sure it wasn't actually your own condition you were seeking a cure for, Mr. Gusto?
I've had enough of your speculations. I managed just fine in that contest. Made all my own entries, no problems.
I've not noticed before that the seahorse on his hand is not moving, and now I'm really upset by it.
This is my friend, Horsey.
Sorry, but I'm afraid you were contradicting your own testimony. You already admitted that you and Mr. Frost had worked together during the contest. It's too late to claim you did it all on your own now. You would have us believe that you are a man of principle, a dedicated student of the confectioner's art, yet you abandoned those principles and conspired with Mr. Frost to rig the contest. All so you could cure your own taste disorder.
You got me, Mr. Prosecutor, as you said, my sense of taste was shot. My son's was fine. I kept it hidden for so long. 18 years, and nobody knew.
Sadly, you can't lie to others. You cannot, I should say, but you can't lie to me.
I will lie to them. I will lie to you as well, damn you.
Both
I mean,
Mr.
I did do it.
Both Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost entered the contest, hoping to obtain the ultimate cookbook for the medicine that would cure Mr. Gusto's disorder, and the money it would bring in for Mr. Frost. Thus, an uneasy alliance was forged, and that, I believe, is checkmate.
I'm not your friend. Guy.
Mind chess. Checkmate. Also, I find it really funny that during that line of question, there was just a question that said, "Your kid was overweight."
Wait,
Like,
yeah.
Was he a fat little bitch?
Cruel. Goddamn.
Yeah.
Was he Augustus Gloop by any chance?
Oh,
Oh God.
Augusto Gloop. I'll admit it. You're good. I never told anybody any of this, but you figured it out all anyway. It's true. 18 years ago, I developed a goose here. I developed a goose.
Oh dear.
Yes, Kay.
What's Agusia? This was one of the hardest words to pronounce on my first playthrough of this. It's real hard.
Agusia, a taste disorder that makes it so you can't taste anything at all. A confectioner's worst nightmare.
Mr. Fender, is this what Mr. Tangaroa had as well?
No, the big man just had what they call a dissociated taste disorder. Basically, some things he could taste just fine, while others had no flavor at all.
Why are there so many people getting into confectionaries that just can't taste? What's the deal with this?
That is
That's
actually
Ace
really
Attorney for you.
fascinating. In the fan translation, it was specifically that Master Jeff, as he was in the fan translation, couldn't taste salt, and so that meant that like there was accidentally salt added to one of the confections, and he didn't notice.
Oh,
Anyway.
I see. So he suffered too. Can't have been easy.
To be Augusto, I agree with you. I know a lawyer who got into the business of lawyering is a terrible lawyer, but a good bullshitter.
I care not for your concerns. Not when there wasn't a way to cure it on the market.
Which is why you needed Mr. Tangaroa's cookbook. Do you admit now that that was the reason that you entered the contest?
It was only one of the reasons. I wasn't lying when I said I wanted the title. When I put my mind to something, it gets done. And I won't lose to anybody. I may not have been able to taste it then, but I still knew my stuff was good enough to win. The taste of victory.
For the benefit of everybody in the room right now, just in case that word comes up again, the pronunciation Agusia.
Agusia. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Laura.
Agusia.
Oh? So you went into the final thinking you stood a good chance of winning?
Of course.
What was it that Fender said about what Mr. Tangaroa thought of Mr. Gusto creations?
Oh, hang on. Digital audio interface, that's not the one. Where have you gone? Hang on.
No!
Wait. Mr. Gusto's creations were a perfect balance of flavor and design, at least up through the semi-final. But disappointingly, his entry for the final was subpar on both counts.
We were told that your entry for the final was far from the prize-winning taste sensation you describe.
It went back to my line again, didn't it? Oh, no, wait. It didn't.
It did, yes.
Okay, let me make sure I say this perfectly.
What happened, Mr. Gusto? What went wrong that day?
There really should be a key input for a simple switch over to voice mode. Fine! You want me to talk? I'll talk. But you're not going to like what I have to say.
My entry for the final.
No, my entry for the final. Frost and I were working together right up through the semi-final. I handled the flavor, he did the designing. But I wanted to face Tangarona in the final on my own. No help, just me and my skills. So I helped Frost with his entry, but mine, I did alone. If it didn't taste good in the final, that's on me. What can I say? I lacked training. And that's all there is to it. Happy now?
There don't seem to be any obvious contradictions in his testimony.
Good, then we're done here.
Yep. Not that I thought it'd be easy to get anything real out of him. He's managed to not let's live that what really happened for 18 years after all. Why don't you try pushing him a bit, Marcelino? See if you can shake something loose.
I am armed.
I think I just might have to, Fender.
Maybe slap him across the face. Maybe burst his orb.
It's time to master chef this bitch. My entry for the final, or his entry for the final.
My
However,
entry for the final.
what I suggest first is let's take a break.
Okay.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah.
See you
Yeah.
soon.
We'll see you in just a few minutes, everyone. For those watching on the YouTube VOD, the break will basically be cut out, so you'll return to the entry. Just give it a few seconds, it will return back to the loading start. So we'll see you in just a few seconds.
We're gonna go ponder our orbs.
It's time to ponder.
And then orbiting the pond.
Yep.
And we are back here for part 2 of Silly Voices Saturday. As we kind of move back, we're about to get going. We've got the testimony to go through here. Well, the argument, the rebuttal against Gusto. Let's see how we get on.
My entry for the final.
I was wondering when this would happen. This is a callback all the way to Investigations 1.
Oh?
And yet, I heard that your creations prior to the final were scored highly for their flavour. So what went wrong? Was there some kind of cooking accident on that day?
No. Nothing like that. It was... I told you, I had a taste disorder. My sense of taste failed me. It's as simple as that.
But Mr. Frost's entry was complimentary on its flavour. Your sense of taste hadn't failed you then. Did something happen overnight?
Oh shit. I don't think he's gonna spill any more beans, Mr. Edgeworth. I think we're gonna have to go to your Bite Palace again.
Then perhaps I should ask you about something else. Did something change between the semi-final and the final, Mr. Gusto?
Not really. The only difference between the semi-final and the final was that Frost wasn't helping me.
New statement. What do we have that works against it? Wait. Daily up through the semi-final, his son wasn't there. Objection! I can think of one significant difference between the semi-final and the final, Mr. Gusto. Your son. This is him in the photograph, correct? You told me he was here with you up through the semi-final.
He was. What of it?
What indeed? He was here with you until the semi-final, until he suddenly wasn't for the final. And
What
just as
indeed?
I know, I didn't make it intentionally.
What indeed?
A reference for the Outer Weirds, if anyone on my channel wants to check that out. If it's up,
So weird.
if-
Outer Weirds.
that's what I call it. The Outer Weirds, the Outer Weirds reaction
Oh.
stream.
Check it out here on YouTube. What?
If it's up on YouTube by now, which it probably isn't. If you're watching this in the future, check and see if it is.
You what?
If you're watching it in the past, please tell me how.
And if you're watching it in the future, what?
And just as suddenly, your work went from being lauded for its flavour to being lambasted for it. I don't think that's a coincidence, do you?
If you're actually watching this in the future, do you actually live underwater?
Oh,
Also,
God.
tell Doc Brown I said hi.
He wasn't just spending quality time with his father. He was playing a much more pivotal role than that.
I just wanted to see me hard at work, to show him I was trying my best for us.
Yes, bud?
Yes, sir.
He was his taste tester.
Who knows? Maybe it was him being here that helped me do so well in those early rounds.
He talks a good game, but nothing about this guy screams super dad to me.
Not even
Wow.
Octodad.
I should know.
Indeed. Thankfully, we'd only have to give such an idea credence if his story were true. After all, how much could the encouragement of one small boy affect the taste of a grown man's work? Mr. Gusto prided himself on the flavour of his creations, but then he lost his sense of taste. He must have had a tough time maintaining his high standards after such a devastating loss, unless... I'm sure your son was here to cheer you on.
Get out of the cave.
Yes, I'm sure your son was here to cheer you on, but that wasn't all he was here to do, was it?
You're a very suspicious man, Mr. Prosecutor. But why not try answering yourself for a change? What was an elementary school kid doing here other than to support his father?
Your son knew the taste of your work pretty well, I imagine, Mr. Gusto.
He was my biggest fan, of course he knew.
In which case, he would have been a good judge of whether something tasted on brand, so to speak, no?
No, Malzarino. You're meant to do that as like on brand.
On fleek.
Fender notes. You've already told us that you were suffering from a taste disorder.
I'll admit it. You're good. And I meant to be in the cave. I never told anybody any of this, but you figured it out. All anyway, wait. It's true. 18 years ago, I developed degrees. Yeah.
No one knew about your condition. Indeed, I doubt Mr. Frost would have wanted to continue collaborating with you had he found out. After all, it was your job to make sure his creations tasted good. Therefore, your son wasn't just here to support you. He was helping you by taste testing your work.
I thought of something very funny.
Dang, that would all make sense. Frost stuff tasted good because it really was finished the day before when his kid was still here.
You have a very vivid imagination, Mr. Prosecutor. But do you seriously think I'd trust a Kate to tell me how to adjust the taste of my masterpieces?
Yes.
I have some pride, you know. Even back then.
Did you now?
My designs may not have been much to write home about back then, but I always knew my work tasted better than anybody else's. You think I'd risk everything by putting my reputation in the hands of a child? This is just more speculation. That's all it is.
In that case, I asked to speak with your son in this instant. Let's see how much of your story he can corroborate.
Sadly for you, my son is no longer your concern.
You sure about that?
My son is no longer my concern.
There we go.
Great fatherhood.
Wait,
He's not
what?
your concern either, because he's not my concern. As soon as he's not my concern. As soon as I got my sense of taste back, I went straight to Zenfar to start my training. And I sent him saying very far and cut off all ties with the kid for good.
Yeah, super dad.
What?
You abandoned your only child?
That ain't half of it. No one knows where he is even now. The cops have looked all over for him, but no dice.
So, still think you could prove your asinine theory? I'd like to see you try. You think I care about anything besides confectionery? Think again. I got my sense of taste back. What need do I have for a son?
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. I would say before my line reads, I don't know how right this theory could end up being, but cast your mind back to when we were doing some investigations around the wings where the portraits were. We saw that little kid, didn't we?
Did we?
Uh-huh. Yeah, we did.
What? There was a little kid. There's a little kid watching one of the, not one of the statues, but there was something else in
With
ice.
the black hair. That one.
Oh.
Like I said, could be entirely wrong.
But it couldn't have been that kid, because that kid was a kid 18 years ago.
Yeah, fair.
They're a bit
Yeah,
more.
fair,
They were a
18
bit
years.
older.
Nah.
I don't know.
It's only a theory I had.
A game.
Game theory.
Wow.
Thanks for watching.
Wait,
You
I'm
get
in
a point.
game?
You get 10 points, all of you. Yeah, the obvious joke made. Woo!
Wait,
Wow, 10 points is really generous for that obvious joke.
Do we only get 10 points? Don't we get a crystal?
No.
Yeah, but you all don't understand. It's like golf.
I want a gold star.
Well, thankfully,
You got both.
you do indeed
there's
get a crystal, and as well as a gold star.
There's only one man who'd be offering up some gold stars, and it's definitely not fully myself. There's
Well,
only
he
one person.
Well,
who
he
did
just
that.
popped up on screen, so for the audience.
The gold star. The gold star guy.
Yeah,
Away with you, balls.
With his gums out. I didn't quite see it. Did he have his gums out?
he had his gums out and a crystal.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Of course he has his gums out.
Anyway, here we go. Silence in the courtroom. While Mr. Gusto's words and actions may demonstrate a certain lack of humanity on his part, the goddess of justice cannot judge him for that. though she can side eye him across the room.
You sure all right now?
Therefore, Mr. Edgeworth, I believe it is time for you to admit defeat.
Yeah, give it up. 18 years is a long time for anything to surface now. Proof or otherwise.
Mr. Edgeworth, we have to do something.
Anything.
Crunch.
We have to stop the crunch.
Yep.
If we don't, the truth might be
I'm,
crunch forever.
I'm causing the crunch. It is me.
Decrunchifying beam.
There we go.
Yay. Damn you.
If we
It is a fool.
don't, the truth might be lost forever.
Where are you, Detective Gumshoe?
Burr, why would you do this to me?
Oh shit! I can't imagine those whose blood it could possibly be, but I'll get it tested right away, sir.
Please do, Detective.
Right you are.
That's the last piece of the puzzle, I'm sure of it. Once we know whose blood it is.
Hey, Miles Morales. Sorry to carry any of your mind, pal, but I was wondering something myself. Our friend Gusto didn't come here just to check him on the body, did he?
You mean because he tried to open the case?
Exactamundo. Think we have anything that might explain why he tried to do that?
We
For
might.
shits and giggles.
We might. If Detective Gumshoe can make it back in time with a certain piece of evidence.
Just to clear with the throat. That's quite enough idle chatter, Defense. Now, if you...
Hey.
Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Sorry to keep you waiting.
Now I imagine every time he comes in like that now, right at the last minute, he does exactly the same sort of song to himself that Bill Murray's character does at the end of Space Jam when he's like offering himself to be part of the Toon Squad, like
No, I
Freezes the like cops.
I just imagine him like storming in, saluting, and cue the theme. Speak of the devil.
Cue the theme. Come on and slay him, and welcome to the jail.
I take it you have the test results, Detective.
I've just been standing here the whole time.
So have I.
Yes, sir. The lab just got back to me.
Shush, Detective, please. Court is in session. Now then, am I right to assume that you are bringing us the evidence Mr. Edgeworth was just speaking of?
What? Hey, no fair! Why didn't anyone tell me about this? Just been standing here the whole time.
It is indeed the evidence in question, Your Honor. It needed testing, so I asked him to carry it out.
What are you guys doing
Fuck!
over there?
Why's everyone always helping you? I'm supposed to be the one in charge here.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Mr. Winner, I'm sorry I didn't involve you, but this is important. Can we at least hear what the detective has to say?
Well, alright. Fucking whatever, I guess.
So, Detective Gumshoe, what do the tests have to tell us?
You're not gonna believe this, but the owner of the blood we found in liquid at the bottom of the Gemini case is Carmelo Gusto, the victim of the poison gas attack.
What are you talking about? I'm not here. Totally not here.
Ah, thank you, Detective. You've been very helpful. Well, it looks like my suspicions were correct.
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
Huh. Yes. What do you mean? Explain yourself. What is the significance of this blood to this case?
It's only the very thing the perpetrator of the IS-7 incident has been trying to hide all these years. The fact that your blood was found inside the Gemini case, Mr. Gusto, is as good as us finding your blood lying right next to Mr. Frost's body.
Overruled! Why would there be traces of your blood there of all places, Mr. Gusto?
I know! It's unforeseen, isn't it?
If you won't answer her honor, Mr. Gusto, then I will. There wasn't just blood in the liquid from the Gemini case. There were traces of salt and sugar, too.
There were?
And if you remember, one particular part of Mr. Frost's work was allegedly very salty indeed.
Fender?
Bear's gonna mute it.
I think Burr's away.
I think Kitty Cat.
I'm not away. I'm just assaulted by kitties.
Oh, fair enough.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kitty assault.
You're talking about what Delicia told us back then, right? What was it again?
Did they ever? I've never tried oysters so scrumptious and all me puff.
Really? Oh, sorry.
Just all right.
The cats blocked the entrance to the cave. Really? Man, I wish I could have had a bite.
Real scrumptious except for the salty bit, of course. That was bearable.
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 G'day.
Lemming. Can you hear
I
his,
forgot that was me.
Easy done.
his name?
I forgot.
The salty bit.
Can you hear his name in the wind? It's Lemming.
I got it.
It's in the you've got there. This bit, the humpy thing.
Sound of a pocket
Okay.
opening in a cave. That was awesome.
Gemini's liar.
Yes, the liar. And the only liar. Burr, please.
That was me.
Okay.
That was Lemming. You played Bear for that?
Oh, poor Burr.
Yeah, my apologies, Burr. Lemming, please.
Yes.
Yes, the liar. And only the liar tasted as if it had been flavoured with salt. There were no trace of salt anywhere else in Mr. Frost's entry.
Very interesting. Then perhaps you can tell us, Mr. Edgeworth. Where did the salt and the liar come from?
Anyone?
Is it the
You
chemicals?
had salt.
The
Wait,
lamp.
you had salt lamp. You had salt lamps, didn't you?
Take that.
This is the lamp from the IS-7 incident?
Indeed, and I believe that the salt that gave the lie its flavour came from just such a lamp. Mr. Von Karma had established that both salt lamps were in Mr. Tangaroa's room at the time of the crime. One of them was used to kill Mr. Frost, and it was stained with his blood. But no corresponding pool of blood was found in Mr. Tangaroa's room.
Right. Because the culprit had chucked a piece of chocolate with it, with that on it, into the little stream.
Yes, Fender, you're still in the cave, but yes, that's correct. Furthermore, aside from the liar, no traces of salt were found anywhere else in Mr. Frost's room either.
Now the cats don't let me leave the cave.
No, we should just do a playthrough in a cave sometime.
Now I'm free of the cave. Hey, come to think of it, the lamps we found in Delicia's room were but broken.
The lamp appears to be broken. Bulbs are smashed. Both of them.
Maybe they fell
Maybe
and
they-
broke the floor.
Oh.
Please, detective, don't steal my light. We never did figure out how the one that wasn't used to kill Frost got busted. Are we thinking maybe that Gustav's blood on it at some point?
Anyone whose blood was found on the lamps would have been a person of interest to the police. So the killer needed to hide the blood somehow, and in a way that wouldn't arouse suspicion.
And you are seriously suggesting that the lie was used to do just that?
I am. I suspect that the bloody salt was somehow applied to the lyre that it could be hidden inside the case. Because unlike the fountain water, the sculptures would have needed more time and care to test properly. And so, he waited and waited for his chance to dispose of the lyre undetected.
Then the reason he's here today is...
18 years ago, Mr. Frost's body and the evidence pointing to his killer were taken away together. This, of course, was not part of the perpetrator's plan, and thus a new dilemma arose. The possibility that the body, the incriminating evidence, or both would resurface one day.
I'm just trying to wrestle with the idea that he decided to painstakingly make a lyre out of that salt instead of diluting it in water and just pouring it down the drain.
I
Well,
was very skilled and very, very patient.
So back he comes 18 years later, sneaking in right and early to try and cover his tracks.
Well, Mr. Gusto, are you finally ready to admit it? That you are the one responsible for the IS-7 incident?
Mr. Gusto, it's all because of you that Samson...
Gusto.
So I finally got caught, huh? After all these years later. Nobody came close back then. Not even the big shot prosecutor or the attorney. That's some impressive work, Mr. Prosecutor. I have to hand it to you.
You admit it then? That you murdered Artie Frost?
Excuse me a second. Raise your tankard. Sure I do. I did it. I killed him. But he only had himself to blame.
He had it coming.
What do you mean by that?
He agreed to help me. We were supposed to help each other so that one of us could win. And whoever won was supposed to let the other use the cookbook. But on the day of the final, the rat finally showed his true colors. Seriously, Frost, we had a deal. Deal.
Ooh, who wants to voice Frost?
I can do it. I
Sure.
haven't done anything important in a while.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm not helping you in the final. Our little agreement is over, Gusto.
But I helped you. I spent all day yesterday making the ice for your pieces.
Did you? And you can prove that, I suppose.
What you... Wait, you were planning to betray me right from the start, weren't you? After Frost double-crossed me, I had to make my piece for the final by myself. Like you said, my son wasn't there, so I didn't have any help with the flavor either.
So much for the pride you claim to have in your ability to make delicious desserts.
Go ahead and judge. You have no idea what it was like for someone like me to lose my sense of taste. I gave up everything to become the best. Everything. I take pride in that. Something someone like you could never understand.
You're right. I don't understand. Do you take pride in the fact you resorted to murder? Or that you
And
abandoned your
abandoned
son? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or that you abandoned your son? Why would I want to understand someone who could do such things?
A man can't afford to rely on other people. I learned that the hard way 18 years ago. My son never showed up on the day of the final. And in hindsight, I wouldn't be surprised if Frost was the reason why.
Why would you think that? What exactly happened to your son?
How am I supposed to know? I told you, he's none of my concern anymore. And according to you guys, nobody knows where he is now either.
And you don't care? You're horrible.
So with his disappearance, so too went your chances of winning, correct?
Yeah. I had to find another way of getting my hands on that book. That's when inspiration struck. I decided to skip afternoon tea and snuck into Tangarora's room. It should have been so easy. All I had to do was sneak in, photograph the formulas I needed, and get the hell out of there. But then, Frost showed up.
I thought I might find you here. Stealing recipes from the famous cookbook,
Frost!
What's this? A cure for taste disorders. Oh no, that's just too tragic. A confectioner who can't taste anything. What will people say?
If you tell anybody, I'll...
Yo, what? You can't even hit me, you miserable worm.
Why, you... Frost shoved me hard when I went to punch him. Knocked me clean off my feet. I crashed into one of the lamps. Must have been when my blood got on it.
So Mr. Frost wasn't first to get hurt.
Yeah, he started it. When it was all over, I realized I had to get rid of that blood somehow. So I scraped all the bloodied bits. I dissolved those salt shavings in some flavored ice mixture and brushed it all over the harp.
Instead of just pouring it down the drain, I don't get
Don't
it.
question my methods!
And that's how he made the evidence linking you to the murder vanish.
Frost was going to blackmail me. He would have made me give him money to keep quiet about my condition.
So you decided to kill him?
Yeah, I guess I did. Why would I let him live? Would you want someone holding something like that over your head? No one holds anything above my head anymore. My hat's too tall. Besides, he's the one who drew first blood. Makes for a solid case of self-defense, don't you think?
So that was the impetus behind it all.
Impetus! Ah, you impertinent. Anyway, I initially took the lamp to Frost's room. Went straight there once I figured out how I was going to hide the bloody parts.
Inspired by all the ice sculpting tools lying about the place, I guess.
You're not as dumb as you pretend to be.
I'm trying.
Yeah, you're not so bad after all. Let's go have a crumpets after this. Yeah, figured I could use them to chip it off and grind it all up all nice and soft-like. Once that was done, painting the stuff all over the harp was easy.
But why Samson? Why did you have to frame him?
Hold it! I never meant for the cops to pin it on him.
We have Mistropolis in the chat. I was just pointing out.
Hello.
Hello.
Mistropolis, notes! That was your fault. You and the rest of them. Why do you think I went to the trouble of placing the lamps and cloths back in Scone's room?
There's only one reason to plant the murder weapon in the room of another contestant, and that's to cast suspicion on that person.
That's Ghosty Pants.
We didn't get any of that, unfortunately, Kay.
Yeah.
Oh my god, for fuck's sake. What? You tried to frame me, Gusty Pants. Did that come through? Okay, that did.
Yeah.
I always hated it when you called me that.
I mean, everyone
Yeah.
fucking does. Nicknames are fucking awful.
I hate them.
Doesn't mean you get to frame her for murder.
Yeah,
Do I
don't
get to kill her then?
Also her
I mean,
fucking
have you ever tried to give someone a nickname while on drugs?
Yeah, that's fair. It's fair. But why? Why poor old me?
I respected Tangaroa. He was the best, a true champion. I would never have wanted him to take the fall. But you're a fraud. Your work wasn't even real. You had no respect for our craft at all. You deserve to be punished for what you did.
That's a bit harsh.
Well, it's kind of a harsh case. It's sort of the deal. I'm not a nice person. What was that?
Disgusting. How could you?
Quite easily, apparently. And had you refrained from eating Tangaroa's work, Frost's body wouldn't have been found. My plan was to wait until Tangaroa was judging your room. That's when I'd sneak the corpse into Frost's room and freeze it. But thanks to you, Bound here found it before I had a chance to retrieve it.
I don't understand. Why did you need to freeze his body at all?
It's all sounding rather convoluted to you, isn't it? Why, indeed.
Mr. Edgeworth? Surely you must know. Why did Mr. Gusto need to freeze Mr. Frost's body?
Mr. Gusto needed to free Mr. Frost's body in order to obscure the time of death. If they determined that the murder occurred during the afternoon tea, he would have been an obvious suspect.
Bingo! Freezing Frost's body was simple. Preparing everything took time. So I decided to put his body in the chest in Tangaroa's room while I got everything ready in Frost's. At the time, it seemed like the perfect hiding place. Never counted on some gluttonous pharmacist showing up and making the whole ship collapse. Did she lift it up with her foot? Is
Yeah.
that what I'm seeing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I had to comprehend what I was seeing last. I was like, what was that? There's someone. I thought there was someone else handing it back to her.
No. Oh, she kicks the bag up with her foot.
Your
me.
bowl of drugs, man.
You missed your drugs.
It's all those years of doing keepy-uppers with the Arsenal ladies football team.
Okay. I still don't get it though. Why disguise the body as an ice sculpture at all?
Why not?
The
Doesn't
sooner
say
it was
so, does it?
found, the smaller the effect of freezing it would have had on masking the time of death. Therefore, he needed to disguise it, at least until it had fully frozen.
Also, just for irony's sake.
How awful! Using Mr. Frost's own work to help you cover up the truth behind this murder!
I just have one problem with this freezing and sculpture.
Go on.
Because There would be judges there biting bits of the sculpture to taste it.
I thought you liked finger food.
Oh dear.
Ironically, Tangarora would have been just fine if the body hadn't been found before I got out of his room. Got it out of the room as well. If only things had gone as planned, if weren't for you meddling kids. He wouldn't even have been arrested, let alone convicted.
Give me a second.
Let alone convicted.
Give me-
Let alone convicted. There we go. I think the idea of them just looking at card camera and being like, move the thing along. Come on.
Please wrap it up.
Give me a second, guys.
Is that?
It's cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hmm.
I'll go until I got to go ahead from you, mate.
This bit will be cut out of the edit later.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm already going. Okay.
Or it won't. There
Karen.
we go.
All right, what? We're good? Okay.
Yep, good to go.
You mean it was my fault? Everything that happened to Samson. It was all because I found the body.
Don't let him get inside your head, Judes. None of this is your fault. If it wasn't Samson, it would have been Delicia instead. She would have been the one they arrested.
Which you kind of wanted anyway.
Either way, there's only one person to blame here, and that's Gusto.
No. It didn't help that the initial detective was so bad at his job either. He never even told the prosecutor that the body had vanished.
Neither would I. It's fucking Von Karma.
So then, Mr. Von Karma had unwittingly placed Mr. Tangaroa under arrest in the absence of a body?
I mean, that was from Karma, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Even
I
know the
mean,
dude,
I
yes.
guess it would explain why he was so keen to wrap things up. Still, you'd think he'd notice something as big as that if he'd taken a look at a few reports, right? Instead of forging them.
Not if someone had been deliberately distorting the facts of the case, though. Either way, it seems that Mr. Von Karma didn't know about the body until after the arrest had been made. But admitting that would have spoiled his perfect record, so he kept it to himself and proceeded to prosecute Mr. Tangaroa regardless.
Can this really be true?
Yep.
You don't feel bad at all? Somebody spent 18 years in prison because of you.
Better than me. Sticks and stones, girlie. Sticks and stones.
What a jerk! I ought to arrest you right now, pal.
You can't arrest people for being jerks, unfortunately.
I'm afraid I can't allow you to do that, Detective.
I'm afraid I can't
Yeah.
do that.
So you noticed her? Glad somebody did. The judge is right. You can't lay a finger on me.
What? Why? You just confessed to murder.
This better not be diplomatic immunity.
No, it's not.
No, he has a gun.
No idea. Then I guess I better lay it down for you. Lay it down thick on the ground. Wiki. Why, you can't arrest me. I killed Frost 18 years ago. Please let that be the end of the testament. Oh, damn it. The statute of limitations for murder in this country is 15 years. You do the math. You can't arrest me. You think I'd have confessed otherwise?
That's right. The statute of limitation is only 15. The statute of limitation is only 15 years. Is this
Can
really
you-
the end of the line, Mr. Edgeworth?
Can you please release Samson?
Once the statute has expired, he can't be charged, so...
But
How unfortunate, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm afraid that both Mr. Cousteau's confession and your deductions will have to be struck from the record. And that Mr. Tangaroa's conviction will remain in place.
But we've finally proven that the police never had Mr. Frostbody in their possession. Even if we can't arrest Mr. Cousteau, surely Mr. Tangaroa has grounds for a retrial on that basis.
Does he? I wouldn't be so sure. I'm afraid that the goddess's judgments are somewhat harder to overturn than you might imagine.
So, the committee means for the verdict of 18 years to stand no matter what?
Bad luck, Mr. Prosecutor.
There must be something we can do, something to bring Gusto down.
Why you cannot arrest me?
Well, this is the main problem. Let's focus on it. Hold it. Depending on your actions over the last 18 years, the statue may not have expired yet.
This ought to be good. All right, I got nothing to hide. If there's something you want to ask it.
Very well. Tell us where you've been and what you've been doing since the incident.
Hiding? Evidently. I mean, sure. Not long after the contest, I was able to cure my taste disorder thanks to the formula from that book. And not so long after that, I went to Zengfa to really buckle down and hone my craft.
Wait, is that going to be extenuating circumstances because he moved because he left the country and then came back to the statute?
Let's find out.
let's check our
Let's check our handy dandy statute for dummies.
yeah.
Let's check our book.
15 years of the crime. The statute suspended. Should the suspect flee the
to a foreign country? Oh shit, dude!
The statute.
What's that book? What is that?
I have another problem
Go on.
right now. Like, if the statute of limitation was 15 years and he was aware of that, why the fuck was he tampering with that statue anyway?
Probably because he wanted to be. Because one thing it would ruin his reputation, even if he knew he couldn't be convicted of it, it would probably ruin his reputation. So.
Probably.
But it will ruin his reputation now.
Yeah, but the thing is, it would have definitely ruined his reputation if he hadn't acted. If he acted and got away with it, no one would have been on the wiser.
Mm-hmm.
This game is so stupid. I hate it. That explains a lot. We tried to contact you after the fact, but I guess you were long gone by then, huh?
At least it's not spirit of justice.
Could be. I left. Let's see. Around a year after the murder. It was before Tangaroa's last day in court. Going to Zenfar was the best thing I ever did! Flavor, design! I'm the full package now! Look at this doggy.
Objection! And all on the backs of those whose lives you destroyed.
What's an omelette without a few eggs, Nothing, Mr. Prosecutor, nothing!
Hang on. You're evil.
Sticks and stones, girlie. You can't arrest me, and that's all that matters.
I need more to work with. There has to be something I can get out of him. Maybe I can push him further on the statements he just made. Is there anything I should follow up on? Training
Training
in
in
Zhengfa.
Zhengfa. Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
like you to tell us more about your training in Zhengfa, if you wouldn't mind.
Fine. I later went to Zhengfa to train, and I finally became the best in the world.
Oh.
Oh?
Probably
Zhengfa?
would need to press that.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And you were there for a while, I imagine?
Yeah. Left some time after the investigation had wrapped up. I'd been meaning to go there and start my studies for a while. And thanks to the hard work I put in... Hoorah, hey, hoo, ha, hoo, check this out. Dragon! My designs are now world class.
Wow, that's amazing.
You can't have it. I mean, actually, maybe you can. You like it? It's yours.
Really? Alright.
So he spent some time in Zhengfa training.
Yes.
Eustace, don't eat raw dough.
Yes, it's the dragon.
Objection!
Oh.
The statute of limitations for murder is subject to the following condition. The statute is suspended should the suspect flee to a foreign country, which means that the time you spent abroad doesn't count towards the total time under the statute.
No way! So it's like someone hit pause while he was in Zhengfa?
It appears there may be time left on the clock yet. But that will depend on how long you stayed in Zhengfa, Mr. Gusteau.
It was 3 years exactly.
Oh, how convenient, mate.
Oh no, how
Really?
inconvenient for him, actually.
3 years. Hold on. One finger. Nobody say anything until
Got felt! Deeply
Hey,
felt!
Winner, come help me here. I'm running out of fingers.
You're asking me, really?
The
Dear
murder
Lord.
happened 18 years back. The statue's 15 years. And the 3 overseas.
If this game pulls the one of like, this is the final day that the statue is like legit for, so if it's gonna do this to me, like,
Look, this is
wow,
Ace
brilliant
Attorney.
game.
Of
How,
course, it's
how,
gonna be there.
how original game, how original.
How convenient. Also, no,
How
it's April,
convenient.
so... Depends, do we count by years, do we count by exact date?
We'll find out in a minute,
Plus
won't
3
we?
makes exactly 18, which means no way! Mr. Edgeworth, you did it! The statute hasn't expired at all.
Bingo! 18 years exactly! Glad you worked it out for yourselves.
Dad, he's just been stringing us along this whole time.
Why is he laughing? We're good, aren't we? We can arrest him now.
I hate to bring it to you, little sis, but I-7 went down at the end of December. It's April now, which means, strictly speaking, it's been 18 years and 4 months since Frost's murder. If Gustav's stay in Zhengfa really lasted 3 years in the nose, it's not enough. We're a few months short.
Not enough, but...
What did I tell you? You can't touch me!
I hate to admit it, but he'd read the board well when he'd made his confession.
Ha. I will say it again. How unfortunate, Mr. Edgeworth. If only the statute had been suspended for another year.
Yeah.
Those who would overturn the goddess's judgment must be willing to pay the price should they fail. Ah! And you, Mr. Edgeworth, have failed.
Ah, no! There must be something I can do.
Does she and the moron die horrible death in the last case?
We'll see.
I
hope we
knew
do.
it. Well, if the law can't bring Mr. Gusteau to justice, then
Jutes, what are you thinking?
Then I'll just kill him right here. Problem solved.
Objection! There's no need to go adding that rap sheet just yet. We're not done here, far from it, because there's still a way we can nail him.
there is.
Alright, Miles Morales, pep talk. I need you to bring back over everything we know about this case. Gusto's overlooked one critical thing that you yourself were led to believe wrongly about.
Which is...
He wasn't there for Samson's last trial, remember? Best I can tell, he doesn't seem to know what the final verdict that came down that day is. Which means there's still one way left to us. Crack open your statues for dummies there and take another look. 17 years ago, they really did a number on Samson and framed him like a pretty picture. Petty picture too. But if we make good use of that verdict now, we can make Gusto pay in full for what he's done.
Fender, are you...
Those who would overturn the goddess' judgment must be willing to pay the price should they fail. Samson's my client, Miles, and I can't bring myself to use the source of his pain as a weapon in this fight. So whether we play a last card or not, it's gonna have to be up to you.
Bringing Mr. Gusto to justice can only happen if I use the outcome of that hard-fought trial. So, should I raise an objection and play that card or not?
Yes.
Raise an objection.
Thou must.
My father and Mr. Von Karma, one sought to reveal the truth, the other to hide it. I know which path I choose to follow, the one that seeks to reveal the truth.
This court has reached its final verdict. The record will state that Mr. Gusteau has been found not guilty on all counts.
Objection! No, Your Honor. Mr. Carmelo Gusto is absolutely guilty. And I refuse to let him walk away. His crimes are too unspeakable to go unpunished.
Do you mean to suggest that you have grounds upon which to call for his arrest?
I do. Now to show Judge Gavell something that proves the statute of limitations hasn't yet expired. Let's take a look at this, shall we?
There's more pages to it, isn't it? Suspended from time of any accomplice's indictment to the end of their trial.
And their trial was 1 year later.
Yes, it was. So that's actually 17 minus 3 years away, so 14.
Yeah.
Yep, December
There you
24th.
go.
Statute of limitations expired 3 years ago on December 24th. Convicted as an accomplice based on his confession. Yep, meaning... Take that!
Very well. Is there a particular page of the IS-7 case file you would like us to refer to?
The suspect data. I'd like to draw your attention to the page concerning the suspect. As you can see, Sansa Tanaroga was convicted as an accomplice. And it took around 1 year from his indictment for that verdict to be reached.
Yes, that does seem to be the case.
The book you gave us details certain conditions pertaining to the statute of limitations for murder. One of them, as I mentioned, is that the statute is suspended if the suspect flees the country. And another states that the statute is suspended from the time of any accomplice's indictment to the end of their trial.
What? Tangaroo was convicted as an accomplice?
Yep. Guess you weren't as young far when the verdict came down. Samson was convicted as an accomplice, not as the main perpetrator. Which is clearly news to you. And not good news either, am I right?
But how can that be? Tangaroo was an accomplice to anyone! He was innocent and you know it!
Oh, we know it. It's what we've been trying to prove all along. And in a pleasing twist of fate, his wrongful conviction will be the very thing that sets him free. If you spent 3 years in Zhengfa, and your accomplice, Samson Tanaroga, was on trial for 1 year, it means you can still be charged with Mr. Frost's murder up to 19 years after the fact. In other words, the statute of limitations hasn't expired at all.
Ha! Shush, shush, shush. The goddess's judgment is infallible. But that of her servants, it appears, is not. It seems the prosecutor in charge of this case may have erred.
May?
Unbelievably, we may have no choice but to instigate a full inquiry.
No! How could this be? You weren't supposed to be. Excuse me.
Objection! Shut up. 18 years. That's a long time to let somebody else suffer for your crimes. It's time to pay the piper, Gusto, and not a moment too soon. Get off the stage.
But I'm finally the greatest. My brilliance has been recognized. I gave up everything for this. Everything. Even my son.
Maybe
Yeah,
they'll
what
let
was
you
wrong with
cook in
that?
jail.
More's the
Yeah.
pity. But you can't run from the law forever, because the bills come due at last.
Oh dear. Kinda dramatic, but okay. Hi, Gumshoe.
Drifting, you know what game we're playing.
Yeah, but still.
Mr. Gusto's all set for his trip downtown, sir.
Oh, good. Which means it's your turn next, right?
I suppose so.
Dudes.
I'm so sorry, everybody. We've caused you all so much trouble. But thank you. Thank you so much for bringing Mr. Gusto to justice at last.
I'm afraid there's no escaping the consequences of your actions, Miss Bound. But those actions were born of the legal mistakes that were made all those years ago. We all know that. So allow me to apologize in return on behalf of the prosecution.
Oh no. I have no one to blame but myself for it all. Starting with those sculptures.
Hey, Judes. You think maybe you might want me to represent you? I'm not some nervous newbie anymore. And there's no way I'm letting you take the rap for everything.
I'd be honored. Thank you, Mr. Fender.
Aw.
They're so.
Sorry, ma'am. But you gotta come with me now.
course.
What is
Judge Gavel, why did you lie to us?
Lie? What are you talking about?
You implied that there was no case for a retrial, but as we've proven, that wasn't true. Surely anyone truly committed to seeing justice done would have called one as soon as the body was found.
I am under no obligation to answer such questions.
And you clearly have no intention of doing so either.
Truly, you are proving to be quite a threat to the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence.
Good.
As such, you give me little choice but to report back on your continued transgressions. No doubt you will be called to appear before the committee in due course. Now, I must be on my way.
Uh-oh.
what the heck? After you caught the real killer and everything. Isn't that what prosecutors are supposed to do?
Regardless of how it may all play out, I will never regret what we accomplished here today.
Mr. Edgeworth.
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth,
Yes?
why did you stick your nose in this case anyway? You weren't even on the job.
My job is to bring the truth to light, Mr. Winner. Not only as a prosecutor, but as a person.
I don't get it.
We know.
I wouldn't expect you to understand. Not as long as you believe that closing a case makes you a winner.
That's going way over my head.
We know.
I'm going home.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
What was that all about?
Eustace still has a lot to learn, is all.
Huh?
And that's putting it mildly.
Moisey Royalty!
Yes.
I just want to say old Greggy Pegleg would have been proud of you today. Oh, look at me tearing up. That Anne. Thanks for helping old poor Sammy Poople.
Of course.
Hey, Edgy! Looks like you cleared everything up, huh? So, what happened exactly? I was kind of busy sketching.
Your Honor, I zoned out. What?
Wait, Judy and Verity go.
Wow, you really weren't paying attention, were you?
He was in the zone.
Yeah, I know that feel.
That's his entire role. He's there to not pay attention.
Though I am loath to admit it, Larry's sketches did come through for us on more than one occasion. Not that I'm about to tell him that.
Don't be so tsundere about it.
Clear with the glaring, will ya? I'm pretend I'm sorry.
Calm down, Larry. I wasn't glaring at you. This is how I look.
He has resting bitch face, that's the problem.
You totally were. You're just like your pop, horrible resting bitch faces, both of you.
He was a terrible liar, apparently.
Listen, now I'm gonna head out.
I'm a head out.
I'm out of here. Need to fill Samson in on what went down today. You wanna come with?
Yes, of course.
We're gonna go to Aldoon's, have a burger.
Great! Then I'm coming too.
April 2nd.
See you later.
4:45 p.m. Detention Center. Visitors room.
So, what's Mr. Tangaroa like? Wait to finally.
Oh, he's a real sweetheart. You'll love him. Even while locked up, he can't help to sing, and make all sorts of cooking and cakes for everyone. That's why 3 p.m. cake extravaganza is a thing for prisoners and guys alike.
Of course, Gary.
Really? That sounds awesome. You think there'll be any left for us to try?
Like, that's awesome. Now I want to be locked up in jail.
Didn't we find a few slices of chocolate cake in the prison the other day? Could they have been some of Mr. Tangaroa's baked goods?
Gummy! What are you doing here?
I heard you were coming to see Mr. Tangaroa, so I volunteered to escort him.
Hello, new friends. I'm Samson Tangaroa.
Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth at your service.
And I'm Mr. Edgeworth's trusty sidekick, Kay Faraday.
It's very nice to meet you both.
Miles here is Gregory's son.
Oh, is that so? Your father was very kind to me and fought so hard for my case. But in the end, I betrayed him. I made a false confession and...
Don't worry, Mr. Tangaroa. Mr. Fender has explained everything to me.
Sure did. And now, we're here to tell you the truth about what happened 18 years ago.
The truth.
2 hours later.
Judy did all that for me.
Crazy kid racked her brain for 18 years until she finally figured out how to set it free. What can I say? Turns out she really would do anything for you.
Oh, Judy. I never did anything to deserve such devotion.
Come now, Mr. Tangaroa. I think we all know that's not true. The bond between the two of you has held strong for all these years, after all.
You think so?
I guess I'd better show him. Which piece of evidence is proof of the bond between Miss Tangaroa and Miss Boundchair?
The chocolates.
The chocolate.
Chocolates?
The blow. Of course, it's the blowtorch.
Take that.
Yeah, it's the blowtorch, actually.
Oh, my favorite blowtorch. Ah, she's taking good care of. I mean, those chocolates. Judy made them, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
They're super delicious and sweet.
Miss Bound continued making them just as you taught her, even after that fateful day, so that there would always be some waiting for you when you finally came home.
Judy. Oh. I bet that's beyond super sweet then, aren't they?
Very much so, I'm afraid. I only wish we could hand them to you.
Don't worry, sir. I'll make sure he gets them later.
Do you have some in your pockets?
Which would be a clear breach of prison policy. Not that I have the authority now to stop him anyway.
As if he wouldn't. I don't think he can be stopped.
Thank you very much. You know, Detective, something about you reminds me of Detective Bad.
It's probably the trench coat. Really, pal? Because I look up to him a lot. He's my role model.
Aww.
You don't say. Seems fate likes to bring people of all sorts together.
You hang in there, Samson. Just a little longer. I should be able to get you out soon. sorry it's taken so long. Nobody should have to wait 18 years to get justice.
Don't be silly, Eddie. I'm the one who should be saying sorry. Or rather, thank you. Truly.
Samson.
Well, guess it's my turn to wait for Judy to come home now. I'd better make sure there's something delicious on the table for her when she finally walks through that door. Don't let me down, Eddie.
Leave it to me, big guy.
The IS-7 incident. It's been 18 long years, but this case we'd inherited from my father is finally coming to a close.
Hey, Miles. Thanks for today. And sorry for forcing you to make the final call like that.
Oh, not at all. I simply made the call that felt right to me.
Huh? What are you guys talking about?
I guess you did zone out too. You know how Samson was wrongfully convicted? We had to pretend that he wasn't in order to nail Gusto. But to use his false conviction against him, even to save him. As his lawyer, I just couldn't bring myself up to it.
Yeah, I see that.
But now that Gusto's behind bars, I can finally start to get a wrongful conviction overturned.
Yes. And I'm sure you will.
Wait a minute. Does this mean that even if you were only doing what's right? The false conviction had already been overturned before today. Mr. Gusto would have gotten away scot-free?
Yep. What can I say? Japanifonian law is fucked up. And that's what we folks in the trade like to call a legal contradiction. The law is far from perfect, especially here.
Because of things like legal contradictions, right?
Yeah, and because of worms like Von Karma and such, and Gavel. But you never know, things might change. The law is always evolving, just like us humans. We might end up as Warp 10 salamanders or something. Your Uncle Eddie and Marcelino included, am I right?
The potential for growth and change in people in the law, huh?
So, Miles, are you going to keep fighting crime as a prosecutor or help people as an attorney? Something tells me you've got a big decision ahead of you. One only you can answer.
I know.
Well, let's just say I won't complain if you show up at the office one day. Just remember to bring chocolate. And on that note, it's time for me to skedaddle. Adios. I owe you big time, and I always repay my debts. But for now, thanks again for today. I mean it.
I do like Fender's theme song, by the way.
Hmm.
Did he seem kind of in a hurry to get out of here to you?
He did. And honestly speaking, I'm the one who owes him a debt of gratitude. After all, he gave me a chance to reckon with my father's final case.
I just needed to go to the toilet.
When I was a boy, all I'd ever dreamed of was becoming an attorney like my father. But then, during my time with Mr. Von Karma, I learned the way of the prosecutor instead. Eventually, with the help of some good friends, I found my own voice and a new way to live. But now my career as a prosecutor is at risk of being taken away from me. It may be time to take another long, hard look at how I want to live my life, whether I like it or not. April 2nd, Edgeworth and Co. Law Office.
Hey, Gregory. Sorry for reporting in so late. It may have taken 18 years, but we're finally in a position to prove Samson's innocence. And all thanks to your boy Miles. I couldn't have done it without him. You should have seen him. The way he fought for the truth gave me chills. It was like I was watching you. Look, I know I'm not half the attorney you were, but those guiding principles you tried to instill in me, I still keep the notes in my breast pocket. And I like to think I'm embodying them now as I carry on your legacy. Here's hoping. Your boy will be joining me in that soon.
Am I going to fight? What's the answer? Which path should I choose? That's a very quick, short remark there. Sorry about that.
Fight crime as a prosecutor, or help people as an attorney. What will he do next? Find out next week on Silly Voice Saturday.
Yes, we're going to call it there. Before we finish, though, we are going to have a quick peek at the next case. Turnabout Forsaken. As we're going to start the episode, and then we're going to do the intro, and then as soon as we get a chance to save, we're going to leave out episode 4 at Turnabout Forsaken.
A teaser. I hereby call this meeting to order. The committee is gathered here in the site of the... Okay, it's just going too quick. The purpose of this hearing is to assess the professional competency of Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Ooh, that's going very quick.
Why are you wearing that raincoat?
No.
No! Ah! Sorry if I missed one during the beginning.
That's fine.
We didn't expect it to go this quickly.
Oh no. What's happened to Kay?
Oh, goodness.
No!
How long until they turn up? Okay, do you know, is it like, will they be in this scene?
They won't be in this scene.
Okay, in that case, we'll leave it here.
She won't be in this scene.
Alright. But yeah, that's where we're going to leave it for next time. And
Well, she shows up in the scene like after like a hot second, and after a different character is introduced.
okay, so let's leave it then.
Yeah, I would recommend leaving it on the cliffhanger.
Yeah, let's do it on the cliffhanger. So yeah, we'll see you all next week. Now, if of course, as I mentioned before, if you're watching this on the YouTube, you can switch over to the Twitch channel right now to watch us do the episode live. So yes, you can do that right now. And of course, I want to thank the cast for joining me. We're finally on episode 3, and I want to thank someone who's not going to be with us next week because they're going to be leaving the cast because they're a special guest. Although we'll have another special guest returning. We're in FTW. Thank you so much for joining us on this case.
It's been fun. Always fun. I voiced a few more than I was expecting.
Yeah, that you did.
That was good. I hope I gave.
It was great fun to listen to you play Carmelo Augusto.
Yeah, I hope I gave their parts justice while you gave them justice.
No, very nice, very good, sir, very good.
Yes. Thanks for having me involved again, and See you again, maybe.
Here's hoping, maybe in the future, maybe. But of course, I want to thank the regular cast. I want to thank Burr,
I want the 3 p.m. cake extravaganza.
Drifting.
So they start with April 2nd, then they skip to April 5. Why are they skipping my birthday of April 4th?
Oh.
Why are you doing this to me, game?
Well, it'll hurt. Well, the April when I believe that's exactly when
Yeah, look, Kay died
Kay
on her
gets-
birthday.
whatever
Fun.
Kay's incident happens. That's fun.
How do you remember your birthday? Oh, it's when Kay died. Oh, yeah.
Fun. And of course, I want to thank Kay.
I've been very excited for the next case. I'm excited to stretch my legs, stretch my wings a little bit with this one. Not only because a mysterious girl appears, but also because there's my favorite, the Ace Attorney character. Not actually, but I think that voice should have been enough
What?
of a hint.
Hello, Sholmes.
No, no. Man, I fucking wish, but no. Technically, he's great Ace Attorney, so.
I also want to thank Laura Petal.
Not to sound sappy and to make the very obvious joke, but this was a very sweet ending to the case.
Oh,
Yeah, it was. To the cakes.
and I also want to thank Living Russ as well for being with us.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
And a thank you in absentia to Mr. Stropolis, who of course will be back with us hopefully next week, and of course to Divot as well, who'll be back with us whenever he's free on Saturdays from work.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Let's
we-
go,
one day.
let him free for God's sake.
Yeah,
We-
whenever we overthrow the capitalism and he's free.
We do
Yeah.
miss him greatly, and we wish him well. And yeah, you'll see us all again next week, next Saturday at 6:30 p.m. GMT. And yes, and also from next week we should be joined by a Myth Shadow Phoenix Raider.
Hey, cool.
Yeah. I wonder why.
I wonder
Be
why.
there or be a four-sided object.
Indeed. We'll see you all later, everyone. Thank you for joining me. My name's Billy Back here. We'll see you all later. Bye-bye, everyone.
Everyone do
Be
strange,
there.
everyone do strange laughs to end it off. Okay, there we go. That's it.
God.
Stop it now.
Seriously.
It's too
Seriously,
silly.
seriously, be there. I'll be a regular rectangle.
Are we done, Mr. Edgeworth?